It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love.
Hello and welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back, everyone.
Today we're going to do a review of our recent European trip that we did, where we went through France, Spain, Portugal, back through Spain, back through France, and then a quick visit to Belgium.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a big trip actually for us.
Yeah, we're going to go through some of the highlights, places we stayed, things we liked, things we didn't like. We'll go through a little bit of the costings, and then we'll let you know what we would probably do different next time if there's anything. So the first evening of our trip we went to Canterbury, where we have been a few times. It's quite handy, park and ride there, isn't it, on Dover Road?
Yeah, New Dover Road. I find it really handy, to be honest. You've got all your facilities there, that's the main thing. I mean, for the whole 24-hour period you are looking at £8. But with that you get a bus ticket that you can have up to 6 people and go into Canterbury itself. So if you do get time and visit there, then it's worth popping into Canterbury.
And then we moved on through to France with the Le Château.
We did, yeah. So obviously this is the only way we've really travelled with the motorhome going across, and it was pretty straightforward. Now you do hear the odd horror story that it gets a bit chocker, and maybe in the summer months it does, but we've never experienced any issue. No. It was literally board and straight across, so that was easy as anything.
Yeah, and we used it there and back, and I'm getting used to being in the tunnel now. Especially with a motorhome, because you can just turn the chairs around and just chill out, have something to eat or whatever, a drink or whatever, while you're going across. So it's much better than a car, really. Yeah. And even we had a little nap on the way across, didn't we, this time? Yeah. We just shut our eyes, and before we knew it, we was at the other side. So
yeah, so it's less than half hour to get across. The actual train ride itself, and there's an adequate space to get on the train for a long vehicle as well, so it's rather straightforward.
Then our first stop in France was at a lovely place we found called Villas-sur-Mer.
Yeah, Villas-sur-Mer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you pronounce it that way, and our pronunciations might not be totally correct as we go through this.
As we go through the whole of this, yes, I do apologise.
So bear with that. But yeah, Villas-sur-Mer. So remembering that, then that was a coastal stop.
It's a little bit further down from Honfleur.
Yeah.
Around that area, Le Havre, is it? Around that kind of.
Yes.
Around there. Yeah. Lovely place, lots to see around there. They even had a dinosaur exhibition kind of centre.
Yeah. So you're right on this park area, and within there you've got a lake. You can hire out bikes and stuff like that within that area. As Jodie said, the dinosaur sort of exhibition museum type thing, and then you got the coast, which is literally on the doorstep as well. A little walk up to the town area, really. It's not that far, was it? Half-hour walk, something like that?
Everything you need is just in walking distance. And if you don't want to walk, you've got the bikes, like Lee said, or them even them little, what they call them, buggy things, riding around on. But yeah, so it was quite a good stop for our first stop, and we had lovely weather as well. The only negative to that, I think, is one barrier for entry and exit, and people do try and come in quite early and sort of hog the exit.
Yeah, so what was happening on that site is, because if you come in, you've got to come in after 12. So if people were leaving just before 12, what was happening is there was a queue to get in, for waiting for the 12 o'clock time to sort of lapse, and for them to then pay and get in. However, people kept reversing because people kept leaving the air.
Trying to keep their place at the front by staying right up against the barrier, but then having to reverse out every time somebody wanted to leave.
That, it was a beautiful air.
And then we went down to a free stopover, sort of mid-France, not far from Le Mans, just to the one side, and it was called Deux et Valais, I believe. Again, pronunciation.
I'm not even going to say that, but yeah. That was a good stop, actually. Was that the one with the lake?
Yeah, that was the one with the lake, and the little restaurant next to it.
That's right. And we still had, I mean, when we was travelling at that time, the weather still was hit and miss for rain. Even though we were lucky enough to have dry weather, that was boggy ground, wasn't it? Yeah. So we did see someone get stuck. We was warned if we go in on the grass, maybe, with our size motorhome. possibly get stuck. So we decided to stay in the car park area.
It was people that came in after us that couldn't get in the car park area because there's no space, trying to go on the grass, and luckily there's a lot of friendly people around there, and they managed to pull them out with their motorhome, didn't they, because they got stuck.
A stop that I would only do for a night, because other than that there's not much there unless you're just there for a weekend chill out. It's good to be out of the way of the hustle and bustle of life and just chill out there for the night.
Yeah, there was a few mosquitoes obviously because it's around the lake, but I've been okay using the Avon Skin So Soft. And then the next place we went to was, we stayed at a place called La Primera, which is near Lamat, should I say, and that's a camping car park.
That was, and it was quite a big one as well, and a lot of spaces in that car park because it's quite a popular area. You had the famous zoo there, you got the beach location there,
lovely beach,
the harbour there, so it was quite a tourist holiday destination.
But we loved that place. Absolutely.
Yes.
And we had the weather again, didn't we?
We did.
Beautiful weather again there. And then we moved on to Spain from there. We were going to go to San Sebastian, but we watched a couple of videos and heard a few stories about crime and people breaking into vans, and we just didn't feel that where we wanted to stay there near the centre, so we could be in the centre, there was enough security for us. I'm not saying that it happens to everybody, it's just that we were a little bit nervous about it, so we decided not to go there, and we pushed on to a place called Camping Zumeira.
Zamira, Camping Zamaya, but
in Zumeira.
Zamaya.
Right, yeah, however you say it.
You're going to get it wrong anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's the name of the place. Well, you can put it on here anyway. We had bad weather there, didn't we? We came from France.
To get the bad weather. Yeah.
France with the good weather, and then hit Spain with the bad weather. And the campsite itself was on tiers. It was all right, wasn't it? It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I wouldn't go on there if the motorhome was much bigger than us, and we're 7.82, because it is a little bit tight to get onto the pitch if there was vans opposite you. We were lucky enough that no one was parked in the opposite pitches, so I could use that pitch to manoeuvre the vehicle on. But yeah, it's a nice stop if you can not focus on you've got to go through the industrial estate to get there.
And the steep entrance and
the
exit.
Steep entrance, yeah.
So entrance is the exit as well, so that was quite steep. You didn't ground out, luckily.
No, we didn't ground out on that one.
Yeah, but like you said, the estate, it's like, it's a really good place to view the area. It's got a nice view from it, but as soon as you come down out of it, that's why it's on the steep, it's quite high up, you are in an industrial estate. So but once you've walked through that to the main town and the main coastal area, it's not too bad, is it?
No,
we just had bad weather, that's all.
We had a good look around, went out on one of the points there that takes you out on the coastal bit, walked around there, didn't we? And that's it really. So we didn't do too much there, but we'd done a lot of travelling by then.
So we stayed there the one night, and then from there we headed to another campsite that we got recommended by us by one of our viewers. If we do get recommendations and it does suit us, then we will try our best to go. We
would always take on board any recommendations.
Definitely, we appreciate it because it helps us. So we went to a lovely place called Camping Playa Joel, yeah, near Noja.
Yes,
spelt
Noja.
Noja, yeah.
Yeah, it's spelt with a J, but obviously their J's are their H's, so Noja.
And that was a beautiful campsite. Yeah, you were all sort of cramped on because it's mainly like seasonal caravans and things like that were there. So the spaces you had were all sort of cramped on a bit, but you find that in some places in Europe anyway. Yeah. And they were between trees.
They do let you go off. I think there's only 2 months of the year they don't let you go off and search for your own pitch, and that's because it's very busy. So that's, I think, the July, August time, I think. So when you're in peak summer. Other than that, you can just turn up.
They have a no dog policy, so unfortunately, I know a lot of our viewers have dogs. If you plan on taking a dog, you can discard that one completely. Yeah. If you're not, it's like a paradise there, isn't it? With the beach is on the campsite.
Yeah.
And then
so it has got a lovely coastline.
Yeah.
Very green around there, and with the beach, it's got its own beach, but you can walk around and it's got other beaches as you go up around the area.
We really appreciate that, so thank you very much, Mick Sparrow, for recommending that one.
Yeah.
And then we went to a free park up, didn't we? Because we decided from there, because we were a bit hit and miss with the weather, that we were going to go into Portugal a little bit earlier than what we'd previously planned, hadn't we?
You had itchy feet. You needed to get going.
I wanted to go to Portugal. I wanted to go to Portugal. I mean, it was nice, northern Spain, but I don't think I'd spend my whole holiday there in northern Spain. I definitely want to get down south or go somewhere else. So we wanted to head to Portugal anyway. As you know, that's our main destination. So we decided to cut across, and we found, well, you found a nice free spot, didn't you?
Yeah. Are you waiting for me to say the name? Playa Ricabeo.
Ricabeo?
Ricabeo.
That's how it's written.
Yeah. So this was on search sites, actually. And it was literally a reservoir. So even though it states Playa, there is a man-made beach, shall we say, or a beach that's not natural there. It has got like a little shed type thing they have as a bar. I don't know what the opening times of that. It weren't open when we were there. But on the official motorhome stops, you could probably get 2 motorhomes there. But it has got a grey waste drop, Elson Point, and fresh water. The water and all that was working. The only thing with the services is the Elson Point weren't, well, it was overflowing type thing, and I could see on search sites people did mention that. It weren't that much of an issue. However, whatever's happening underneath, the pipes are leaking slightly maybe, and you can see a little bit a mess. But the actual area was spectacular and well worth the stop. You could also park pretty much anywhere around that parking spot on the reservoir.
The thing is, there's a kids' play area there as well, or like, I don't know if it's a play group or something, but when we went we couldn't see that. There was nothing, but we'd seen it on the reviews. So really they should try and keep that clean, shouldn't they, if they've got kids playing around, I don't know
who,
you know what I mean?
What authority runs that? But.
But like, we were looking for the beach, and the bar was shut when we were there. We were looking for the beach, and then we could see like a kind of sandy, grassy area, and then a massive pile of sand. So we reckon that was due to go on.
Yeah, so that was maybe their beach.
Yeah, they were just setting it up ready. The only real negative for me was the mosquitoes. It was in a reservoir, you would expect it, but we must have had a tiny bit of light showing somewhere, because they attacked our van.
Gladly, with this van, touch wood, they've never, well, you get the odd one come in, but like the amount of mosquitoes we had around, they didn't actually get
I
in
think
here,
we carried a couple around with us.
Maybe
in the boots,
so.
In the garage area, maybe.
But there was hundreds, and yeah, so the seals on this van so far are pretty good.
We could hear them frying with the flame from the fridge.
Yeah, so
That's
the fridge was on
gas. It was.
And you could just hear them as they're getting into the vents, and that flame just burning them. So.
That's it. That was their final destination.
Yeah.
Once we closed up everything and made sure there was no light, they headed off towards the bar area, so we were all right then.
Yeah.
It is hundreds of
But
them.
it's spectacular views there.
Yeah, it is lovely. So, you know, as long as you
in the daytime,
shut the doors at night, you're all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's lovely. We would go back again. We just know.
Yeah.
We just know that
you can't see nothing when it's dark anyway. The ambient
Yeah.
light there is minimal, so it's pretty pitch black once the sun goes down.
And I was lucky I never got bitten, because that stuff's so good that I've been spraying on, and I was fine. So then we headed into Portugal, and we decided to cut in kind of north, and we went sort of midway across, didn't we?
So the only thing with Portugal, before we go into where we stayed in Portugal, I did look up about their toll system because I heard it was different. So just to mention the toll system, there is 2 types, and because there is different companies that own the tolls. So one of the types is electronic toll system, and you can go on the Portuguese tolls website, and the official website, and you can log your bank card. As I did. Now I believe there is machines that you can do it, but I didn't want to take that risk, so I logged it online, put my bank card in. It stays active for 30 days, so every time we went through, very cheap tolls mind, every time we went through an electronic toll, it wouldn't bother me, because it just automatically within 7 days or so it'd take that money out. Now it accumulates for the whole day, so it'll work out the whole day of all the tolls you've used electronically. The other type of toll that has a barrier. So electronic tolls, no barriers at all. The ones with barriers don't go straight through where it's the tag lane unless you've got a tag attached to your vehicle. So an electronic device that actually pings and tells them you've paid or they're going to take the money, which I believe you can only get that if you're a resident of Portugal.
Yeah, no foreign vehicles.
No foreign vehicles.
You can't even do it retrospectively. You'll end up with a fine.
Yeah, and so go straight to the barrier, collect your ticket or pay the toll fee. So it's simple as that. Go online, register your card for the electronic tolls. Don't worry about them no more. If you come up to a barrier, grab the ticket or pay.
That one we did see though. We saw that people could pull over and do it at a machine there.
Yeah, so I believe
not all of them, but some of them.
I believe there's a machine before you get to the tolls.
Yeah.
However, we have heard stories of the card not registering in time, people arriving home to a fine because the first toll they used, it weren't registered. So if you do it a few days before, I think it was 3 days before, I registered and ready to go, and it was all lined up, so easy.
And then we went to a place called Pinel,
Yeah.
which we just picked from search for sites, to be honest. And because we've never been to Portugal before, you have, but I've never been.
Yeah, not in the motorhome, I've never been.
Yeah, or driving around, probably not either. So it was a camping car park because we thought, well, actually, we did pick it on search for sites, but it did say that it was camping car park, so we went to their website, didn't we?
Yes, yeah, because we were registered with them. So.
Yeah, and because we were already registered with them from the previous one in France, we thought it'd be a good idea because at least we know we can see the availability.
Yeah.
And it was lovely, wasn't it?
It was absolutely
lovely.
Immaculate, really.
Yeah.
Lovely pitches. It had like what's the boards called? So it's like the patio boarding.
Yeah, around the edges of the pitches.
Yeah. So I can't remember what you call it now, but you know, like you can have it in your garden. It's just slats of wood, but it was really marked out well and massive service area.
Like
really
thinking.
Clean.
We actually thought it was next to a supermarket though, didn't we?
We did. Yeah.
And we went looking for that supermarket and it even had a picture of a shopping trolley on it, and it ended up being just like a bric-a-brac kind of place.
Yeah, one of the Chinese markets they have out there. They with everything for sale other than food. Really. Yeah, and we needed food.
So we set off in search for a supermarket, didn't we? Which we never actually found.
No.
But we found a lovely little... They call it a city, or was it a town?
It was a city, wasn't it? Yeah, and it was like I don't know, lookout towers / castle type thing.
Yeah.
And
just
the
really
north and
medieval,
south.
really medieval, wasn't it? The whole place, and I think there was a tour because when we went up to look at the towers and the castle, you go in the information place, and there was a lady selling the tour, so they'd take you round. But we had a look at some of the places we would imagine they would take you as we were going around the town. And it's just got stunning history, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was a lovely place,
Lovely
beautiful,
place.
and it's really high up as well. So you know, when you was up the top there, you could see for miles just over this, you know, really green, lush land. Really, it was nice.
Yeah. So we thought that was a really good choice, and we would recommend that definitely, wouldn't we?
So where was next?
Coimbra.
Coimbra.
So somebody else recommended this on Facebook comments on our page. So thank you very much. Can't remember who it was right now, but thank you very much for recommending it. So we sort of were looking at it anyway, weren't we? But we decided to go there, and we wanted to see the city because we knew there was lots of things to see. And the closest we could get, not having a car with us, was this one camping place, wasn't it? I don't know if it was called Camping Coimbra, was it? Or Coimbra Camping or Camping Coimbra?
Coimbra Camping and Bungalows, I think.
Right, okay. It wasn't the best. It did the job. For the night we stayed there, you could probably do a couple of nights there.
Being close to the city, it was quite adequate.
Yeah, it was adequate enough. It's just we didn't go for electric, so we ended up on the top tier. With the Coimbra campsite, there's a bus stop outside as well, takes you in. I think it was about, was it €2 or €3?
It was €2 per person. I'm not sure if it was a return or not. However, I think it was just there and then €2 back, so that would have been €8, and we ended up paying like €2 something for a taxi.
Yeah.
Taxis are cheap
because it was a Sunday and we didn't want to risk the buses, so you looked for an option of a taxi.
There was an app called Bolt, and it runs all around Portugal really, and it's just like an Uber app, and it was really cheap, and they come straight to your GPS location on your phone, so it made it easier if you don't know where you are.
And for that price, I thought they were going to be a little bit rusty or whatever.
No,
but these were nice. These were top-notch cars. They were nice. We went
lovely.
for mid-range. You didn't go cheap, but it was still
Lovely.
was still very cheap. So yeah, we really enjoyed that, and we did use them in other places, didn't we, Bob?
We did, yeah.
In Portugal. Just one last thing on Coimbra. If you want to see what we got up to there, it's best to look at the video because there was so much to see.
Yeah, loads to see.
I can't explain it all to you.
We couldn't have seen it all in that day. So
have a look at our video, and also in our video there's a link in the description to the main places to see in Coimbra, so if you wanted to check that out. So yes, definitely recommend it though, definitely. And then we went to a lovely place called Porto Corvo, which I love that. I loved the campsite, I loved the area. Very up and coming area. The campsite, we went for premium pitches, so we paid a little bit more, but they were huge, weren't they?
Absolutely massive. We probably could have got 3 of these on there.
Yeah, and the campsite was so clean, and it had everything you needed again, restaurants, laundries, shops, everything needed on there, didn't it?
But I think the most stunning part of that, because there is a lot of building work going on, and sometimes you've got to look past that, because as Jodie said, it's an up and coming area. As you go down into the little villagey town bit or whatever, that's really nice, but the coastline is stunning, and the water quality was amazing.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. The little coves with the little beaches, and you're up on the top of the cliff there, and you can just see all the rugged coastline. Like I say, with people, sunbathing down on the little covey beach as you go along. Beautiful.
Yeah, I've even taken a picture from one of the coves, and now that's my screensaver on my map because it was that good. It's better than some of them that are programmed in.
Yeah.
It was so pretty, so beautiful. The only downside to the whole place is make sure you've gone shopping first if you need food and stuff.
Yeah, there is a little shop in the little town bit.
Yeah, there's one on the site as well.
One on the site, but they didn't have much.
There is one in the town, but it's a little bit more expensive. It doesn't do everything either. It's a bit cramped as well in there, isn't it? If it's got a few people in.
But if you need essentials, it's there. It's just expensive.
Yeah, there is stuff, but if you're wanting to do a proper shop, then do that before you go to Porto Corvo. I would suggest. That's all. Definitely recommend Porto Corvo in Portugal. And then we went to our destination, which is where we're heading to, is the Algarve. And we went to camping Albufeira.
Yeah.
A few of you may know about that because there's been other videos on it, and a few people will have been there already. We wanted to book a week there, so we knew it was sorted for when we got there. But you can't book camping Albufeira.
We sort of learned that about Portugal. Portugal is pretty much a turn up to the site. There may be the odd site where you can book, but if there are them sites, they usually have a booking fee as an extra. But usually, what we found in Portugal, it's just pretty much turn up.
We squeezed on first because we didn't know how big the site was. So when we came in and we just found the first available space, it was really tight, and then I went, hang on a minute, Lee, there's loads of space over there. Now the reason it looks so much like there's loads of space, they were doing some grass cutting, so they'd cut some of the cordoned some of that off, but there was a couple of spaces just before that, wasn't they? Lee went to have a look, and then we moved, and it was a beautiful
stay. Yeah.
We met a lovely couple there as well who cooked us some lovely dinner, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yes,
from Scotland. They were amazing.
And that was great, actually. It was really nice to be, invited for something to eat. It was just, because sometimes when you're travelling, it's just us, but it's sometimes nice to interact with others, and that's what it's about as well. And that was a good opportunity to interact with another couple. And we had a couple of drinks that evening, so it was very nice.
Well, we booked for 4 nights originally, then we went and extended for another night, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we went and visited Albufeira itself, and we had a bit of hit and miss weather, you see. So some days were nice, some were a bit windy. So we're trying to pick the best days, and that's why we had to extend, because we knew that day was going to be a better day, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we went down to the beach, which is beautiful and stunning. It's a lovely place. You've got your bars where people drink and go and probably have stag do's or whatever. Then you've got your quieter areas. You've got your big hotels, your outside beach bars. It's and your restaurants on the beach as well. And we ate out a couple of times. We found a really nice Indian, didn't we? We had a nice stay. They have music playing in the square, depending on what bar you're in. I think they take it in turns to have the music in their bar so you can all hear it. It's just it's a lovely place, and I would definitely go again, and definitely recommend Albufeira.
Yeah.
And we had an amazing boat ride out. I mean, we're looking for dolphins, which we didn't find.
No, not
but
this time.
Did see all the caves and that was
that was lovely,
beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Again, stunning coastline, Portugal. Really, really nice.
And the boat did go quite fast as well, which was quite fun. Albufeira was brilliant, and then we decided from there we were going to head back into Spain.
Mm-hmm.
We actually wanted to go to Seville, didn't we? We've heard some things about Seville, and we wouldn't mind visiting the city and everything. And we found an air which was right near the city on the docks, and we thought, well, that'd be
it was
quite
like a
nice.
marina type thing, wasn't
it? But it was quite late when we set off, and the time obviously travelling, and by the time we got there, it was quite full, and by the time we worked out how to get through the gate, we did read on the reviews, just got to wait and shout somebody or whatever.
Buzz the buzzer.
Yeah, well, eventually we got in, but there was one space left, and it was all tight, wasn't it? And
it was probably tighter than some of the airs we've stayed on like that.
I'm not saying that there might be people watching this that have had an enjoyable stay there. That's great. But for us at that time, in that situation, as time was pushing on, one space left, squeezing you on, it wasn't for us. So we decided, both of us were a bit anxious about it. And when you feel like that, you just move on. So we decided to plod on. And as we were driving, we just thought, we were heading towards Malaga at some point, so we just put Malaga in. And as we were driving, I was looking for somewhere, and then we found a supermarket called Family Cash that had an
air at the back of the car park, basically.
Yeah.
And we've heard there's a few Family Cashes type supermarkets that do this, so it's not the only one. We thought it might have been the only one, but it ain't.
No.
Ideal to basically get your shopping in and wheel the trolley straight up to the motorhome.
The service is there as well, and we attended. That was Asuna.
Asuna.
Is it called
That's
Asuna?
Right. Yeah, Asuna.
The parking the bays are actually enough for cars, like one after the other. There's quite a lot, but most people were parking along them long ways because there is no way, even though it's a designated motorhome place, there was no way you were going to get the motorhomes in and out the way they had it. So people were parking long ways again, and respectfully to each other. It was quite. You've got quite a few, about 10.
Yeah.
About 10 on there, do you reckon?
Yeah,
you get on there, something like that. And we arrived on a bank holiday as well, didn't we? Spanish bank holiday. So that the supermarket wasn't open the next day, but the day after that we got a load of shopping in, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we headed up to see the town, because on the way there, as we were driving there, we could see like the castles and churches and things on the hill, couldn't we? I thought it looks quite nice. And
yeah, it was a lovely place. Yeah, beautiful, good to visit.
the only negative to that place is that it's all quite uphill if you want to see the main sites, with them being on top of a hill. So if you have mobility issues, it would be quite hard to get up there. You can drive up if you've got a car. We did see cars going up to the top of there. And the fact that you do get people coming in and out quite late at night as well, don't you? Different vans and stuff. So, but it's free, and it's near a supermarket, and it's in a beautiful town. So you can't ask for more than that, can you, really?
No, ideal.
And then from there we decided we were going to head towards a place near Malaga called Rincon de la Victoria. We'd found a nice little campsite there. It was fairly cheap. We thought we'd go for that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we was also contacted around that time by a couple of viewers that wanted to meet up with us if we ever were near Malaga. So it was perfect, wasn't it? So we went there, and it was a lovely campsite. It just has a few issues, doesn't it, with entrance to it?
Oh yeah, so this was the one where, Jodie did mention to me, I didn't read it myself, but then someone has ground out on the entrance to make sure you pick the right entrance. Because we use the Garmin Avtex 2, it's never let me down. Now sometimes it's got to take you down narrow streets because that's the only entrance in. So it was quite narrow as we're coming in, but I'm thinking I'll trust in the Garmin. Now what I didn't realise after assessing the situation after is obviously all the map systems probably run off Google and they just take their data from that. There is a road, if you're coming in the other way, that is not recognised on Google, so it would think it's blocked. Any sat-nav going up there will only think that's the way in. And of course, it was the way that was going to grind out. Now, I did sort of see it. I could have probably reversed now in hindsight, but then I still would have had to navigate back through them tight roads and then try and find a way in. So I thought I'd go for it. Now, I did have a feeling maybe underneath it'd be the freshwater outlet, and it did. It knocked the freshwater outlet, scraped a little bit of the tank, but
I thought it was the exhaust, didn't I?
You did, because it's cladded in a silver foam cladding. It looked a bit like an exhaust, but that was just the pipe. So it knocked off the pipe, and it basically knocked off the outlet mechanical mechanism. It was hanging on pretty much by the electrical wire, and then I limped into the campsite. I was able to get that fixed, no problem. It didn't really faze me too much. I would have found a way to plug the tank. At the end of the day, I didn't need to empty the fresh tank while we was out on that trip, not at all. It would just be a way of plugging it and filling up the fresh, so we can still use fresh. However, I was able to use CT1 to get the bracket stuck back on and have the system working again perfectly. So.
And on our actual video for that, which is in the playlist, which I'll link into this description, the playlist, our actual video for that, which was called Real Motorhome Disaster, you'll see on there that we showed the correct way into that campsite. Yes. Because they were a lovely family-run campsite, weren't they?
Yes, weren't the campsites issue.
And they can't put signs up, they're not allowed to do anything like that. They can only put it on their website, which they do, but not everyone reads it.
They have contacted Google as well, and nothing's really been done about it. They won't do
anything. So because that's a bit of road isn't recognised, it will always take you the wrong way. Apart from that, if you go in the right way and you leave the right way, it's actually a really good campsite, and we recommend it. It's got a nice little coastal area within it, hasn't it? Just like a 10-minute walk away, isn't it? And if you want to get into Malaga, it's about a half an hour bus drive.
A little bit more, I reckon.
40 minutes,
40-minute bus ride into Malaga, port area in the harbour.
We went there and visited some lovely friends now, Anne and Nigel, and we had a really good time with them. And then we looked around the port area. We didn't see all of Malaga, so we don't know much about Malaga. We can't say much apart from the port area. It was beautiful, and some lovely boats out there, and the bars were lovely, and it was a good atmosphere, so we really enjoyed that. So that stay was really good, and we would recommend that, and you could stay there for a week or longer, couldn't you, on that site?
Easily.
So from there we went back to a stop that we stayed at last time, and we really loved it, and it was a free park up near Alicante Airport.
Yes, not too far.
Urbanova,
yes.
is the place we stayed. It's got a lovely promenade, restaurants, lovely beach, couple of hard standing park ups there. The one nearest to the promenade is where we stayed. Great place, but we just recommend don't go up into the corner and the far end. There is a guy, and maybe it's
probably a few people.
Maybe a few, but we've seen the same guy twice, both times we've been, who likes to empty his toilet cassette in the bushes of the sand just on that edge up there. So if you've got kids with you or animals with you, do not go to that far end, because we don't know.
It's covered in flies there anyway.
Our van, we packed up there, didn't we? We were covered in flies. He was emptying his waste. He dug a hole in the sand underneath to empty his waste.
You're probably going to find this in certain places, so just be aware of stuff like that. It does happen. It happens everywhere in the world, but if you're staying there, we recommend being closest to the promenade side, and it'd be a great stop.
So we didn't stay for 2 nights there like we wanted to because of our experience this time, so we moved on and got to Benidorm a day earlier than we'd booked. They let us on to the campsite, so we stayed at the campsite called Camping Arena Blanca.
Yes, Camping Arena Blanca, something
like that. And we stayed there before, and it's a great site. Bit of a squeeze to get on, but it's really friendly, nice and comfortable, and out the way. We've been there twice, we really like it, but I think next time, if we go back to Benidorm again, we had a couple of dramas there which we've put videos on if you want to go and have a look. We're not going to go into it now because it will make this video so long having to explain it. It's long enough as it is, so please go back and watch our video in the playlist called They Tried to Rob Us. We will be staying at the Old Town area next time, won't we?
Yes, so we're thinking we're going to go down that side if we stay around that area.
We do recommend the campsite we're on, but for us we will be moving into a different area. And then from there, Benidorm, we decided to head home, didn't we?
Yes, we did, yes. And that came with its little errors in the navigational side anyway.
Oh, bless you. So we were aiming to go back the other side of the Pyrenees into France, and you found a nice camping car park, hadn't you?
Yes,
we got spaces on it. And when we set off, when we got onto the main road, and it said 260 kilometres to Zaragoza. And I was like, we're on this road for that long to Zaragoza means we ain't going in the right direction. But we'd already gone like an hour or so into our drive, hadn't we?
So we carried on. I know what happened now is basically I work off coordinates when I set the sat nav abroad. I think I was on the northwest coordinates or the southwest, I can't remember now, but anyway, I put one of the coordinates in wrong and it took us basically towards Zaragoza rather than the campsite we wanted to go on. It was
taking us to somewhere in Bilbao,
yeah.
Going back there. So you obviously got the coordinates slightly wrong.
So we decided to carry on to Pamplona, basically.
Pamplona, yeah. We decided to go back there because we thought, well, we're heading home anyway. We know that site. We've messed up here. Let's just go there. We didn't know whether we were going to be staying on the free park up we stayed on last time, or the actual air itself. So we just went, and there were spaces on the air. They paid €10 a night, so we just stayed there, didn't we?
We did, yeah. It was an easy stop, and it's got electric, so it's fine. It was a great stop.
I've been to Pamplona a couple of times, used it there and back last time as a stopover. So this time we went in and found somewhere to eat and had a look round like a park area, didn't we? With some history in it.
It was. Yeah. Well, it was nice to see a different part of it anyway. Yeah,
it is famous for the bull ring and that, but if you look past that, it's got loads of nice. It's really comfortable. It's a really comfortable place.
It can get noisy on a weekend because it's a city. Other than that, it's not too bad. When I say noisy, it's not like rowdy people. It's, sirens, traffic noise maybe, fireworks going off, motorbikes, the scooter type things.
Shouting,
so that sort of thing. But, it's still a safe area. If you need a stopover, it's well worth a visit to get there and see Pamplona is really nice. I think that's one of my favourite cities. Yeah. Definitely.
If you want to check out, we've got 2 videos on Pamplona, one on this playlist and one in our previous one. And we also show the free car park that's opposite it. I mean, you can stay there for 24 hours for free. It recognises your number plate when you go in, lets you in, and that's the barrier in case you didn't. And then we headed back into France. Yeah, we went to a place called Teleborg.
Teleborg, if you say it that way, then I'm
Teleborg.
Teleborg, yeah, I'm in agreement.
And it's a camping car park again. It was near a castle.
Yeah, it was pretty much on the land, I suppose, of the castle grounds, and you had your own private garden where you could see a bit of the castle as well. I think you can visit inside the castle, which we didn't. We didn't really have time. We did have a look around the area, and it was really nice stop there, I thought. It was peaceful.
Yeah, there was a restaurant. There was the bars and restaurants, about 3 or 4 around the area, so you got a nice castle. The only downside to it, I would say, is train.
But they did shut off at night, so it might have been around 11 o'clock. And as some of the comments say, from that video, is some people find it quite tranquil and nice. So, it weren't much of a problem for us in the daylight hours. But it is there, and for some people, that may not work for you.
Our coats were back on when we got there, weren't they?
Yeah, that was definitely coming back north.
Then we headed off to a place near Rouen called Bruegel or something like that.
Brugli, maybe?
Something like that. We will put it in here. We've probably pronounced it wrong. But it was a nice little site again, like the first one in Villers-sur-Mer that we went to in France. It was like a camping car park where you pay as you go in.
Yeah, that's right.
And the barrier let you know for your ticket and everything.
It was like a campsite.
It was like a campsite. It was absolutely stunning, wasn't it? Massive space for your pictures and
very quirky buildings around there as well, wasn't it? And then you had the walk down into the woods. You had the brook running alongside it.
We didn't do much filming there because we just wanted a bit of a break. Really, it was only one night stop.
Needed a break there.
Yeah, but we did go into the little town area, and there's plenty in the town bars. But the Aldi is not where it says it is in that area. It says it's number 5 on the street, but it's not. It's more like 105 further up, isn't it?
Yeah, if you go back to our last one, it is our last European video, isn't it? Really, before we come home, then I do put a map up just to show people that where it is, because it is there, just not where it states it is.
So we went there, and then we headed from there to go meet some friends in Belgium, which we weren't expecting. It was like we were planning to meet them if we crossed paths.
Yeah.
So they said that we're in Belgium, in Ypres, and we thought, well, why not just head over? It's just over the border, and it was plenty of time for us to get to Calais the next day for our train, wasn't it? So
well, it was only an hour and 15 minutes from Belgium, or that site, to
Calais.
to Calais. So that was very easy, just to get down there ready for the train.
Yeah, and Steve and Catherine took us to the Menin Gate, and we went and saw the last post. That was nice to see, pay respects and things. And then
it's a lovely thing to see. I've seen it in the past many years ago, but it was good to see it again. It still carries on.
And then we left there and we went back for the train, stopped again at Canterbury that night, and then from there we headed to the shows, didn't we?
Yeah, so the first festival, as soon as we crossed over.
Yeah, so that was the end of our time in Europe.
Yeah.
But what we'd like to go through the costings now with you, but we're not going to break them down too far, because one, we didn't work it out to that actual point, and it can get a bit boring, and this video is long enough. So we just thought we'd give you a rough idea. So all in all, we spent about £3,000. You drove...
It's pretty much a 4,000 mile round trip.
Yeah, so if you think of the fuel for that, and then we didn't eat out much really, just when we got to Albufeira and Benidorm. They were the two places that we ate out, so there was costings for that. The normal food shopping we did would have been what we'd have normally done anyway if we were at home. So campsites, some of the campsites and airs that we stayed on, there was costings for them as well in that 4,000. Tolls were a big one, as well as the fuel. And that was about it for costings, wasn't it? I haven't missed anything out. Oh, no. The cost of the tunnel, sorry.
Yes, tunnel. and the Euro tunnel.
But
Bear in mind,
I
used my Tesco club card vouchers for that. Which is a shame, they only double up the points now, but if you are a Tesco shopper and use their club card, you can use the club card voucher points to then convert them to get money off your crossing on the Eurotunnel, and well worth doing.
And we are looking at going again, aren't we, soon? So stay tuned for our plans for our next one.
Yes, definitely. And it will be this year. Yes. So, we're not waiting around till next year to go back out to Europe. And we are going to be doing it slightly different as our travelling out to get there. And where, well, you'll just have to wait and see on that one. But definitely stay tuned for our next European.
It's similar, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So
still in the motorhome. So we're still in the motorhome.
Not flying. No.
Yeah, we're not taking a tent on our backs.
Or flying our hotels.
Or flying or anything like that. So we're still in the motorhome. We're just arriving there in a different way.
But you'll find all that out when we do. We'll stay tuned and we'll do a vlog on it. It's just a lot easier, because if we explain it all in here, we've waffled on enough.
Yes,
Thank you for staying tuned with us right to the end. If you're still with us now, we do appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Definitely. And well, I suppose that's it from us. But look out for our next vlogs of our UK travels, and we will see you on the next one. So thanks again for everyone that has subscribed and supports the channel. Until then, bye.
See ya.